What if I told you ghosts might actually be real? Not the white sheet, chain dragging kind, but something far stranger, something science itself can't fully rule out. Because here's the thing, everything you think is real. Everything you can touch, feel, and see, it's barely even there. You, me, this planet, everything around us is only about 2 to 3% real. So what's the other 97%? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. Let's start with something that'll break your brain a little. Everything in the universe, every rock, every tree, every human being is made of atoms. Trillions and trillions of them. Now, inside every atom, there's a tiny center called the nucleus, and around it, electrons buzzing around at incredible speed. But here's the wild part. The space between the nucleus and those electrons is enormous compared to the nucleus itself. If an atom were the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a single grain of sand sitting in the middle. Everything else? Empty space. So when you high-five your friend, you're not actually touching them. Two clouds of empty space are just pushing against each other. Mind blown. Okay, but wait. If we're mostly empty space, why don't we just phase through walls? Great question. The answer involves one of the most mind-bending discoveries in all of physics. Imagine the entire universe, every inch of space, is filled with an invisible field, like a cosmic swimming pool, that everything exists inside. This is called the Higgs Field. Now, when tiny particles move through this field, it creates a kind of drag, a resistance, like running through water instead of air. That resistance is what we experience as mass, as weight, as the feeling of things being solid. The more a particle interacts with the Higgs field, the heavier and more solid it feels. But some particles? They don't interact with the Higgs field at all. Like photons, particles of light. That's why light has no mass and travels at maximum speed. Nothing is slowing it down. So in a sense, mass, the feeling of being solid, is almost like an illusion created by this invisible field. Your solidness isn't a property of the particles themselves. It's the result of how they interact with the universe around them. Now here's where it gets truly strange. What if the Higgs field isn't the only invisible field in the universe? What if there are other fields, completely different ones, that we can't detect at all? And what if there are other types of matter that interact with those fields instead of ours? We would never be able to see them, never feel them, never touch them, but they would still be real. They would still exist, right here, right now, passing through us this very second. Sounds like science fiction, right? Except science already knows this is happening. It's called dark matter. Scientists have discovered that about 27% of the entire universe is made of something we cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot measure directly. We only know it exists because of gravity. Dark matter has weight, and that weight bends light and holds galaxies together. But what is it? We genuinely don't know. It doesn't interact with light. It doesn't interact with the Higgs field the way normal matter does. It's a completely separate type of existence, sharing the same space as us, invisible and undetectable. So let's come back to the original question. Can ghosts be real? Here's the scientific thought experiment. If dark matter can exist all around us, invisible, intangible, passing right through us, then what stops us from imagining other forms of matter we haven't discovered yet? Forms that are organized, complex, maybe even conscious? Now, to be clear, science has found zero evidence of ghosts. None. This is not a claim that ghosts exist, but what science has shown us is this. The universe contains entire categories of existence that we are completely blind to. We are swimming in invisible fields, surrounded by invisible matter, living inside a reality that is 97% things we cannot see or feel. And one commenter on a science reel put it perfectly. What if there are other types of matter that exist as well, and we cannot feel or find them because they don't interact with the Higgs field, but they interact with gravity, dark matter? The universe is stranger than any ghost story ever written. And the scariest part? We're only just beginning to understand it. So the next time someone tells you ghosts aren't real because science says so, tell them this. Science says you're mostly empty space. Science says an invisible field is what makes you feel solid. Science says 27% of the universe is made of something completely invisible and unknown. Science says we live inside a reality we can only perceive 2 to 3% of. Maybe ghosts aren't supernatural at all. Maybe they're just natural. In ways we don't understand yet. This is Knowloop, where the universe gets weird.